And welcome guys to another little video. Now today's video is going to be explaining how to do a few things, and I've been working with the kit and stuff like that, doing major refactors, and I'm pretty happy with some of it. Now we don't have some of the other functions that it used to have, but the thing about it is you have to just refactor sometimes because and you can do things better afterwards. So what I've done is started adding the weapon movement and a variety of things. Now there's a lot of the stuff that's disabled or whatnot, but the problem is hey, anytime you refactor, you break some stuff, then you fix it, and sometimes it ends up running a lot better. Used to, this was pegged at 60. Now it's going up there pretty good. I mean, I've got a lot of frames right now. Even with recording, it runs absolutely well. So my refactoring has taught me anything. It's that it's running really, really well. So there's obviously some overhead that I've cut out. So we can get more, better things on the main thread. Now, just to say, hey, what's up and everything, this video is in response to doing the weapon system. Now, the weapon system, we could change weapons and everything, but we can also do something like this. If I want to shoot bullets, I shoot bullets. This is shooting bullets. You see the bullet holes just for testing purposes and everything. But I can also do this. I can hit 1 and I can go and instantiate rigid body stuff. So we got states. And as you can see, it runs even really well. These are all rigid bodies. All these cases are all rigid bodies. So I'm instantiating a rigid body. And you see my frame rate really isn't dropping, and it's surprisingly well because these are rigid bodies, and when you get more rigid bodies that are active and everything, you tend to have problems, right? So you can do like a little bowling game if you wanted with this. Now I'm going to do some refactoring on this as well, but if you wanted a rigid body, a grenade or something, like bling, grenade, boom, and like kill something, then you could. It pretty much has the code to do so, right? So that's that. And in all honesty, this debug.log thingy is probably what's taken a lot of the performance and stuff, because debug.log is kind of heavy, but you need it. So let's take a look at the weapon and stuff like that. First, okay, we have our player object, controller, we got our inputs here, and we have our light gunner with a mouse script on it. Okay, and then we got player walk, run, jump script, which is actually pretty modular. So you can change it out if you actually really needed to for something better or worse or whatever, or something off the asset store that you like better. That's fine. You don't have to use mine. So let's look at our weapon right here. This is the weapon right here that has several states, okay? Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, we are doing these through scriptable objects, okay? Scriptable objects, it does nothing in itself right now, okay? But you could easily make this something else, okay? So it's got two different states on it, but this is weapon L point is for launching stuff. It's straight up exactly the way it's supposed to be and stuff. and that's what it does. Okay, it has its own ammo and everything. So in all honesty, if you had like a M16 with a rocket launcher or something like that, it could do it for you. If you had just see this weapon L mode, this scriptable object tells the script, hey, you've got a launcher script and you should use it, right? That's what it's meant to do. Okay? But if you didn't have the scriptable object in here and you didn't want it as a state, you don't have to have this here. Okay? You can just take it right off. Okay? You can just delete it. Doesn't matter. I haven't integrated ammunition in there yet or anything else because I was mostly working on the launcher script and how to make it modular enough where you guys could use it any which way. If you wanted to use the launcher script by itself, you can only have one, okay? But in all honesty, really, when it comes to a rocket launcher or something like that, you can use this script for it, okay? Instead of doing just a rigid body, which is my crate that just does something, you could easily have this launcher script go, hey, I want you to find, some type of enemy where you just shoot in the air or something. Or, have it with a script that just makes it go forward, like a rocket would. If it was some heat-seeking rocket or something like that, you would have to do something special for that anyway. Which means you would take this script right here, this launcher thing, and then you would just override everything that you need to. Or just have it inherit from weapon L, and then just change all the stuff inside. Which wouldn't be that hard. I mean, it really wouldn't. And this weapon L script, we could actually probably just have this as a base object, and then just go, hey, every other script that inherits from it, we write a specific case for what we need. And it would work. It would work just fine. But as for weapon scripts, this is just based on a single case of this weapon script could work for single shot shotguns. It can work for shotguns. It can work for machine guns. It could work for burst. It could use anything you want. The thing is, right now I just made scriptable objects and the programming for a automatic firing weapon, a full auto, and a launcher. That's it. Because a lot of games, even this can also work for a single shot. The only thing that you have to change is the fire time. Make it a lot more. Like, if you wanted to use it for a pistol, make it like a lot more. Okay, like a lot more time. Don't make it like 0.5 and expect it to work, right? Because it's just going to be like way... I think it was on 0.5, wasn't it? No, it's 0.05. So I would probably go with like 0.2 for maybe a pistol. That would probably be okay. So let's instantiate this and see how this works anyway. Okay, we got our weapon. I can shoot like a full auto. I mean, you could see it with the bullet holes. I'm just holding it, and that's cool. So if I wanted to make like a pistol or something like that, how would 0.2 work? It's still pretty quick, but it's not exactly like a full automatic. So let's go up to like 0.5, right? Yeah, that's pretty slow. Yeah, that seems more like a pistol. Okay. So, yeah, you could easily do that. Now, I've also made it a menu up here, which I don't think you guys can see it if I pull the menu up, can you? No. I'll go in the full monitor. This menu right here, we go to weapons, weapon state, and all I gotta do is click on this. Or, let's say I'm making a weapon, and let's say I'm right here. Well, guess what? All I have to do is go to my create menu, weapons, weapon states, and build an L fire. And name it whatever I want. Which we only have one case, really, for weapon L fire, but it'll make a scriptable object for you. So, in the code and everything, we will be talking about how we're doing this and all that good stuff. But we have to go through a lot of code and stuff like that, which I'm already in 11 minutes, and I apologize if I spoke a lot. I had to get that stuff out there. So the first script that we're going to see is this. Okay, this is for creating our scriptable objects. Okay, static function call. This is where it will be in the menu. We've gone over that. Okay, weapon modes is a script that we're going to be going over pretty soon. Okay, it's just a regular script like this. This is for that create menu when you can right click. It's just a series. Oh, if you can't see stuff and things like that, it's because you need this as well. But all I do is do work and pass in this variable here. And this virtual void right here is what we're overriding to tell our guns to do what it needs to do. Okay? It's like a job for our gun. Hey, your job is to fire the regular fire. Okay? And that would be fine. Okay? So we'll go back to Asset Builder, and Weapon L mode is another script. But it's quite similar to the other one. It's like I said, you just overrided the function. Okay? That's all you did. You inherited from weapon mode from a different, weapon L mode, inherits from weapon modes, and all we do is override the virtual function. Okay, and it goes weapon L fire. Okay, very easy because weapon mode, all we're calling from our push button is to do the job. Okay, which you'll see in a second. And we have the override there to, use for selected. The scriptable object really doesn't do anything right now. Later on, we could have it, fill in icons and stuff like that. But for the most part, it works really, really well this way. So that's weapon mode. That's the asset builder. We've talked about this before. About creating assets. This is the code for it. Very easy. You just create an asset, give it the variable from here, give it a string where it goes, and save it. That's it. Pretty simple. Simple indeed. And it must have .asset. If it doesn't have this dot here, the operating system for your computer doesn't know what to do with it. You always got to have some form of file extension when you're making something, okay? And never try to parse an asset out to text or something like that. It doesn't work like that. So, we've got that out of the way. Okay. Weapon modes is out of the way. Alright. Weapon move handler is something next. But let's go to Light Gunner. Light Gunner is a script that's heavily. We talked about this junk and stuff, but we need to talk about this one. Weapon object is a interface. I believe, yes. Yeah, it's an interface. You need these functions for the interface to work, okay? And this destroyer method right here, this is because we're using interfaces in here. We need a method to call. Because interfaces is a C# thing, okay? It's not a mono, unity-like thing. It's like a data type, okay? So don't try to do game object dot destroy a weapon object right here, because it's not going to work because it's not mono, okay? And then we have our mouse look, which is easy to do. I mean, we shouldn't really have to talk about that because it's just a mouse look. And this right here, this weapon load type, is just for loading weapons. We talked about it in the other video because we're going to use it for our queue system here. But this right here, you don't need this. But the thing is, I hard-coded it in so that we could get a weapon that works in the scene. That's it. That's all that this code is for. Later on, I'll show you before the level loads how to fill this queue in so that we can have weapons. If you go from one scene to the next, we won't have to load data, save data, and all that stuff. And then we go weapon handler in queue because we're putting it in the queue. Okay, and then in the update method, it checks the queue count and then pulls it out and goes, hey, weapon, I need you. Blah. That's basically it. That's basically all this is. Okay, and we'll see this function in a minute. Actually, we'll see it really shortly. It's right down here. And then we have our input, get button down, tab. This is what I use for changing my weapons. Okay. And then our update method for calling the rotational stuff, which is pretty basic. I mean, I won't go over the mouse look because there's so many out there and so many different ways. It would be useless. I don't believe that it would be useful for me to talk about a mouse look. There's hundreds of them on the internet. This is just how we're updating it because it's not a mono script. So instantiating a weapon right here. Instantiating a weapon comes from weapon handler. Okay, so let's take a look at this definition here. Okay, weapon handler has a queue, which is static, and this is a static class too. But we also have a weapons class thing right here. We can make something specific for this class using this because we passed the class in here. Okay, so if I wanted to make like a different type, all I'd have to do is copy this in here and call a different function. Hey, instead of this being here, we're going to have it for light gunner. Okay, so now we have a class that's for light gunner, a completely different class, and have different cases for each weapon slot we have. Now, weapon slot is fully static and it is pretty modular and pretty generic. Okay, but we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves because we still need to go into light gunner and talk about changing weapons because there is a few things that you need to change in here in order for this to work properly. We did the weapon thing in the last video. Okay, current weapon is a variable. Okay, that's up top, I believe. Current weapon, which is the weapon object. Okay, which it has to be written this way. All right. So current weapon dot close weapon. This is a function called to the weapon to tell it to maybe run its animation or just deactivate straight up. Okay. There's, you know, no other way to put that. Okay, because we're changing the weapon, maybe we want an animation to continuously run, you know, run until the very end when his weapon is off the screen. We will, you know, pop our index up by 1, and then use our modulo operator with the count to make sure that it's capped out. Okay, we use a start coroutine here to wait. We'll use this yield return null, and it won't do anything with the weapon or anything like that. It'll just sit here and just loop until the gun is deactivated. Okay, and then we swap the gun for the new gun. Current weapon dot get component to weapon object. Because we use an interface, anything can call weapon object. Even if as long as we put the interface into our weapon class, you know, the actual weapon that we wrote, it'll work. Okay, it'll work. And then we go new weapon dot set active. We need to turn that puppy on and everything else, and we do a yield statement here. And honestly, I don't know why. Oh, it's see, if I take this off and exit it out, it gives me an error, I believe. Actually, no, it doesn't. The reason why I do this is so that we can't do anything with the weapon until it's done playing its animation, probably it's for animation reasons. When we pull out a gun and everything else, we want it to play out the animation like he's pulling it out of his pocket or something. This is what that's for. And then we go weapon changing equals false. It flags the weapon, the buttons that it's, you know, doing its thing. A lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff. So, we've seen that script, and that makes sense. But, oh yeah, and here's the thing. We destroy our old weapon somewhere, right? We destroy it. No, we do not. Change. Oh no, this isn't where we destroy it. Okay, yeah, that's right. So we've already done this one. Oh, right. I'll show you guys what this is about. Remember me saying we're going to probably put key codes in here and everything else? The reason why I put this in here is if we want to change this via script, we can just access it and change it. We have access to it fully and everything else. And there should only be one thing that says weapon change state. I mean, come on. Alright, there's no sense in going, hey, check this, hey, check that, and go in between like 10 different scripts, okay? It's silly. Which we'll probably do a lot more of this right here. And the reason why I like this too, when the game starts up, this already exists, okay? So when we're in the main menu, if we want to change this, we can change it. It doesn't care. We can change it at runtime. So, and the beauty about this is, when we go up to this kind of script, watch this. Right down here, it's actually right here. Input, get key down, input data dot change, and we compare it. So I have a key variable right here, which means yes, the input data does have to exist and all that stuff. But the thing about it is, I don't have to go into this script right here in the update or something like that and have it go, hey, did the weapon button change? Yes or no? And then have it change something. It's all modular and in such a way where it just it just uses this instead of something dumb. So let's take a look at this weapon script. Alright. This is going to be a whole lot of good stuff here. Because this is probably going to be the end of this video after this script. So we have our close time, that's for the animation, range, the raycast range, spread, that's noise factor, force, we don't use yet, layer mask gun. Layer mask gun is part of our old system, which may go obsolete soon. I haven't decided yet. Damage is nothing but a float, so it's really easy. Weapon modes, that's an array. Okay, that's an array of jobs, okay, that we call. Just an array of them. Pretty easy. Weapon state, hey, we have to, increment which weapon we are in the array. And that's pretty much it. Fire time is a firing thing, that's the variable. How long it takes to shoot your next bullet. L weapon is a script, that's a reference, which we won't get into for this video because I don't want it to be too much longer. Our gun stuff hasn't been integrated. Then our weapon handler, that's in there, but it's not ready yet. Not ready yet till third video. Okay. So we have start. Hey, if weapon L equals null, we get components. And yeah, because we could parent something to it or whatnot if we didn't fill it in. And I don't believe that throws an error either. And then camera transform, we get our main camera, and then handler, this is not for this video yet. Not till third. Not till the third tier. And then this fire method, I changed this a lot. The only thing that's in it now is this. Fire time and then check bool. And that's it. Basically just a countdown timer. Very basic one. I did it this way to get a single instance, but it's not really necessary. If you know how to do timers, .delta time, you could just basically put this code in there, and that's it. Which we may, but, it's not that big of a deal. So if fire time, blah, 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 get button down, fire 1 equals true, and fire method dot fire time equals true, which just means fire time has counted down to 0. We put the fire time back, make it more than 0, so that way it'll return false. On weapon states, we're going into the array, and this is basically going 0 or 1. You know, whatever the index says. Okay? And then we pass a do job, and we pass this game object, which in turn gets converted over to the interface. So this tells the system, hey, do something. It gets a callback to the script, basically. Then we got else, weapon handler, which is not integrated till third video. Input get key down, and you know what weapon change thing, it's just basically a key code. Weapon state equals in our modulo operation. Very simple. You know, it just increments 1, and if we hit the length, then it goes back to 0. That's it. I mean, we've done this operation so many times that I'm thinking about just skipping this line every time I see it. And we get button down, fire 2, and this is not integrated till third video. This is not integrated till third video. So this is the callback that we have. So we do the array mask thing, and we pass stuff in that we need. You know, pretty basic stuff, range, spread amount, layer stuff, and then damage. And that's it. I don't want this debug message anymore because it's not necessary. So we have a vector 3, a camera transform, and all, you know, variables to be filled in, which this is never filled in because it's dynamically set and passed in. Okay? But I don't want to instantiate a new vector 3 every single time that I shoot. That's just a waste, right? I'll make it a member variable that's permanent so it doesn't have to keep generating new memory every single time. So raycast hit, a tag, I mean pretty basic stuff, a transform direction on the camera transform, and we pass in this. The get noise is one specific function, okay, which is this. Get noise is a public static function that's in this script right here. A public static function. Oh, we don't need this to be static. No, we don't. And it takes a vector 2 in because we never care about z. Z's just dumb. You know, it's the forward direction. That's what it is. So, do you really want to create noise on how far it goes? Maybe like, hey, well, we might later on, but I see no reason to integrate a random dot range into it. And all it does is generate a new vector 3, does a random dot range in minus, and then a positive in the x amounts and the y amounts. That's basically it. And then it returns that vector 3. Okay. Which in truth, we could probably turn... nah. Okay. That's all we need. So we got our directions and stuff. Our hit points. Our raycast stuff, which, you know, is just a basic physics raycasting. It's not that big of a deal. We do all the stuff here, you know, hit, dot, point, dot, blah, blah, bullet hole. We pass it a string and the layers, well, the layer container thing, because it contains, you know, our game object stuff, which is down here, and I just automatically have it go to, see, the string is going into a switch statement, so I could do a bunch of cases like case And then we go like this, and then we go return. What's that called? Weapon layer. Weapon layer dot metal if it gets a metal tag. Wait, case. Really? That should be right. Or is it at the end? Yeah, it's at the end. So if we get a metal tag, it'll go to metal and return a metal one. So this will be filled in with metal now. So when we get down to this instantiation, it just, instantiates it based on its normal and stuff. Very basic. It's been there 100 times. We've done this, and this tag weapon is meant for damaging and other stuff. So, yeah. And we pass hit point in case we want to do a rigid body to add force. That's what that's for. This function's actually been written already in the older videos. I just haven't integrated it into this version of it yet. But we've done this before. Okay. Now L fire just does our fire time stuff. Get next fire time, which is a function in our thing. Okay. But I said we'll do that in the next video. And that should pretty much be it for you guys. How long is this? Okay, 37 minutes. Alright, so the next time we come in here, we will talk about these kind of scripts and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate you guys' time and effort and stuff. And I hope you guys learned something cool that you can do in this video. But thanks for watching, and we're done. Over and out.